And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's United Rugby Championship Round 6 preview. Lots and lots of games this weekend. It should be a pretty cracking weekend, really, of rugby, it must be said. It's looking very exciting. Lots of very big matches. Leicester-Munster, the big sort of Irish derby. You've got Sharks versus Ulster, which I think is going to be absolutely stacked with quality players. You know, you've got Bernard taking on the Bulls tonight. Obviously, for the Bulls to try and get a victory on tour. You've got the Lions taking on Glasgow Warriors, who are on the back of a pretty big defeat to get the hands of the Sharks, but they also did beat the Bulls pretty recently. The question is, can Lions get back to winning ways and win their first home game of the season? That is the question. That is what they'll be trying to do. The Stormers are up against Cardiff tomorrow evening as well. So it should be a pretty cool weekend of rugby. Before we sort of get going, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, the big thing is first of all, a big shout out to Betcoza, and that is the big thing. Betcoza is the big thing. Betcoza is the shit, as one would say. And the reason that they are the shit is that they are going to be giving you guys free bets throughout the entire weekend. And who doesn't love some free money, basically? So what we're going to do is we're going to start getting the giveaways going. So basically, every single URC South African team match this weekend, we will be giving away two free bets, one to the value of $100, one to the value of $50, courtesy of Betcoza. And we're going to get the Bulls one going today, seeing as we're doing the watch along later. So I'm going to put that in the description, predict and win. And basically what you're going to do is, first of all, predict and win. Go to that link, give us your prediction. There's literally a little button there that says click here to join Betcoza. Go and join them. Go and sign up for Betcoza, because that's the problem. We've had a couple people who've won free bests and they haven't signed up for Betcoza. We can't give them to you. So what is the point of winning free money if we can't give it to you? And so that's the thing. You got to go and sign up for Betcoza. Go and predict your who's going to win tonight between the Benton Bulls, how much they're going to win by. And we will then give you guys a free 100 bet to the person who is the closest to that. And we will also be doing a lucky draw for anyone who enters, and they will win a 50 Rand free bet courtesy of Betcoza. So get involved there. I'm just going to share this live stream link. It's people on the stream here. URC round 6 preview. Wait. We are live for the URC Round 6 preview, powered by Betcoza. Come join in here. There we go. The people, go get people in the stream. We gotta get buggers in here. We need our buggers and the bugger racers. Is buggerettes? What's the female equivalent of a bugger? Unless we just call them buggers and we're all just using a very affectionate term. These are the sort of things we need to sort of start ironing out, isn't it? But let me just sort that out, and then we'll get stuck into the ruggers for the buggers. I actually had a website called Ruggers for the Buggers. It was a vasty passion project, which was quite fun actually. But we are going to be doing 2 live watch alongs today as well. We are going to be doing the under 21 final, which I'm very excited about. Lions to take the dub. Lions against silverware. We're going to beat the Bulls today in the under 21 final. It's at Loftus. It's away from home, but you know what? There's under 21 Lions side can cook. Nico Stay and what play he's going to be. We should have just loaded with Ruan Fenter, just for shits and giggles as well. Should have just thrown him in there and just let him run over Bulls players. But alas, he's got to run over Glasgow Warriors players tomorrow. So man needs to go retire a couple more international players by running over them very, very aggressively. So yeah, that is the plan. So yeah, I think a couple of people are getting involved in their Betcoza. So yeah, do that. And big thank you to Betcoza who are sponsoring our URC streams at the moment, which is very cool. So big shout out to them. But in terms of the fixtures, and we actually sort of double up as a betting preview, because basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the fixtures, but what we're going to be doing is looking at some of the bets and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you where I've got some of my money on, because yeah, there'd be money to win out this evening. So we'll start with this evening for today's games, which are So I'm going to try and make this a bit bigger. We're going to put you to the bottom there. We're going to make you a little bit bigger. I wonder if I make the website a bit bigger. Just make it a little bit bigger there. Yeah, that's looking a bit better, isn't it? So, yeah, the two games this evening are Benetton versus Bulls and Connacht taking on Scarlets. So if we look, I mean, for example, I actually think there's a reasonable amount of value in this Bulls at 1.6 because I do think that they are looking to bounce back. I think they will bounce back this evening. I think that there is potential value in that bet. Obviously, handicaps is usually sort of where we sort of really sort of punt ourselves. Can they cover the spread, for example? And we'll look at what the handicaps are and stuff like that. But as a very easy bet, I think Bulls at 1.6. I fancy the odds actually because I don't see Benetton beating them. And the reason I don't see Benetton beating them is I think the Bulls will have to respond, and they're so desperate to respond that I do think that they will they'll end up with one victory this tour. I think I'll be very surprised if they don't. Yeah, so that's where I'm sort of sitting at. And then Connacht versus Scotland. Before we look at that, let's look at the full market, shall we? The full markets here for Bulls versus Benetton. We have to make this a little bit bigger to try and get it in. So there we are. Yeah, so your handicap, I think your handicap also always looks good. I think Bulls at minus 2.5 is probably the better bet than going Bulls outright. So I think that's probably your best bet. To the pun. But it is your best bet. It is literally probably your best bet. I back the Bulls, to be honest. I really do. I do think they're going to win tonight. I mean, Benetton. I think they've got everything they need to beat the Bulls. I just have a feeling that the Bulls have to respond, and when their backs are against the wall, Jake White's been doubted, etc., etc., etc. My gut says the Bulls win tonight. In terms of points, I don't see it being. I suppose it actually could be a high scoring. I don't know what the weather's like in over there. Benetton actually on the back of a very big thrashing, so their defense is pretty porous, and actually so is the Bulls. So I think that over 49.5 points is probably not a bad shot either. So I think those are probably the two that sort of have my eye on for this evening. Anytime scorers are quite fun. Bismarck Duplessis being backed quite there, as a David Krios, Maloney, and Hendrik Wessels. I mean, yeah, anytime scorer, Jan Hendrik Wessels coming off the bench, Tim McCunts. They're not really backing bench to score, are they? I think very much more looking to sort of see Benetton hitting some points off the boot and stuff like that. So those are some of the bets for this evening. As I said, I've got my eyes on the Bulls outright and the Bulls handicap. The Bulls handicap just makes more sense because obviously you do get better odds. Yeah, I mean, they can grab a draw or at least lose within that or win, and you are sorted. The next one is Connacht versus Scarlets. I think this is an interesting game, and Connacht very much being backed to do the business. Your handicap sitting at 6.5, which I don't think is too bad. I think that I think that if there's an upset this weekend, I'll be surprised if it's the Scarlets. I do think Connacht are on the back of an actually pretty impressive performance against Leinster. It was a pretty deadly dull game, but the fact that they only conceded a 10 against Leinster means I think that them at home give them the edge over Scarlets. So I am backing them there. I'm not sure if it's going to be a particularly high-scoring game. We haven't seen particularly high-scoring games in the Irish games recently. For example, both the Connacht versus Leinster as well as that Leinster versus Ulster game were pretty low-scoring. Anytime scorers are the likes of Mac Hansen, for example, John Porch backed up there. So that's there, and then we've got tomorrow, and the big one. So I mean, this is where handicaps have to start coming in because, for example, you look at Zebra versus Edinburgh. This is an interesting game because Edinburgh hammered Benetton last week, and in theory, Benetton are a better side than Zebra, but Zebra have been putting in some pretty stoic performances. I think is a nice word to use. So if we look at some of the sort of where the bets are sitting at there, the handicap's sitting at 12.5. I genuinely actually back Edinburgh at this minus 12.5. I do have some money on it. I do think that is a decent way to go. There's no value in an outright winner. I don't see Zebra winning. And I do think that Edinburgh showed last week with Durham van der Merwe. I think they've got the best back three, almost in club rugby, and that's a huge statement to make. It's a massive statement to make, but you've got Buffelli at 14. You've got Durham van der Merwe at 11. Those two are mean finishers, world-class players. British and Irish Lions, Argentina's best player on your wings. And I think that they have got the capacity to score a lot of points. Then the question is, do you back the Lions, who are very much being backed by the bookies to do the business? The handicap sitting at 7.5, and I'm sort of nervous about that handicap because I think the Lions are very in the last sort of two. I mean, they couldn't get the job done last week, but obviously were so good in Europe. Back at home, it's a very nice Lions side that has been picked, and I think that they can do the business. Jordan Hendricks is being picked, for example. The pack has been having some good games, so I'm hoping that we'll see a bit more from them this weekend. Yeah, just before we go to everyone go to the comments. Larry saying, Stephen, how do I start making my own rugby team selection photos? What app can I start with? Thanks for the great content, my man. Canva maybe. Canva's probably a good bet. Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, we mostly use Photoshop, and the Adobe products, but Canva is a nice tool to use. Free account. The premium obviously does give you a lot nicer stuff because you have a lot of templates. But yeah, you can do a lot of cool stuff with Canva. Tim Berg saying Nico Staines coming along nicely for the Lions to 21 as well. Can't wait for the Bulls to sign him. Bulls have got to come off. They'll be fine. They'll live. Nico Staines, he looks world class. He really does. World class talent, and very excited to see sort of how he goes there. You've then got Leicester versus Munster, the big derby, and Munster at the moment not playing particularly good rugby. So the handicap sitting at 16.5. Again, we haven't seen too many big point differences in the Irish games so far. Leicester 16.5. I don't think it's a bad shout though. I think Leinster are looking back to their best. Trying to see. I think they have announced their team. That's always the problem, isn't it? You're sitting here trying to make bets when we haven't seen teams and stuff like that. But Leinster at home, I think will be very dangerous. They've literally in the last 6 minutes. Johnny Sexton's captain the side. Nick McCarthy's going to make his 50th appearance on the bench. Let's see what this Leinster side is looking like. Right, here we go. Kieran Frawley, Jimmy O'Brien, Gary Ringworth, Robbie Henshaw in the centres, Jamie Osborne. Johnny Sexton next to Luke McGrath. You've got Cian Healy, Dan Sheehan, Tyke Furlong, Jason Jenkins, James Ryan. Yeah, this is a good Leinster side. Max Deegan, Scott Penny, Kellen Doris off the bench. The likes of Nick McCarthy, Ross Maloney's there, Jack Conan, Michael Alatoa's on the bench, Andrew Porter's on the bench, Ross Byrne. Yeah, it's a good Leinster side. The Munster side, it's not bad. It's not bad at that Munster side, but it's not clicking at the moment. So I do think that Leinster side could run in quite a big scoreline if they get going. So yeah, maybe that handicap. I think Leinster probably can cover that spread. Elsewhere, Sharks versus Ulster. This is a big game actually, and I think that Ulster backed at 3 to what I don't know. It's interesting because the Sharks. It's a world class Sharks side. It is the Sharks side we've been waiting for, and they can still get better. But it very much is the Sharks side that that we've been waiting to see. That the pack is, it's like it shouldn't be allowed. I mean, Oxenshire, Bongi Manambi, Thomas Satoy, Evan Etzebeth. I think it's Hiron Andrews this weekend. Not Renil Hugo. A loose trio of Sia Khaleesi, Vincent Suka, and Pepsi Buthelezi. That could be a block trio, and you wouldn't blink. Like genuinely. The back line is littered with stars. There's Hiron Andrews. And in the back line, it goes Jaden Hendricks, goes back on the side, Buddha Chamberlain, Max on the Pimpy, Ben Tapawai, Martin Portkita, Werner Clark, up there Fassi. The only sort of player in the back line that hasn't played international rugby is Martin Portkita and Buddha Chamberlain. That's it. And in the pack, the only people that haven't played international is Hiron Andrews, Vincent Suka, and Pepsi Buthelezi. Two of those who I think are probably good enough. Vincent Suka will probably be a Bok already if it wasn't for his passport status. He would be a Bok already. I don't see how he wouldn't be. I think that they're at 8.5 for the Sharks. I think that they should be able to do it again, especially if even Etzebeth gets going again like last week. Cardiff taking on the Stormers. Back the Stormers to do the job. I think that minus 5.5. I think we saw last week at the fact that Stormers can adapt to a certain degree in the wet. I was very impressed with how Marnie Leibach did control the game. So I do think they can get the job done over there. Cardiff at home, though, you can never write them off. And then the last game is the Dragons versus Ospreys. Quite a close game, not too much between them. The spread, the handicap sitting at 2.5. So that's where you sort of probably go and want to put your money in there. So and those are what the picture looking like. So which games look really sort of tickling your fancy? What are you like really eyeing out this weekend? For me, I think Sharks versus Ulster, Leinster versus Munster, probably the two big games. Sharks versus Ulster, probably more the big game. given the form that both of those sides are in at the moment. I think that if Munster was playing better, that would obviously be a very big game, but Munster has not been the Munster we've been expecting to see, which has been very disappointing from a Munster perspective. So a couple of people have been putting their predictions in for the bet codes to win a free bet. So go and sign up, but please make sure, please don't be that person. Please don't be that person that goes and enters, wins a free bet, and then hasn't got a bet codes account. It's the easiest part of the entire job. Go and get a bet codes account. Link is in the description, and the link is on the page as well. I'm going to put the link in the description once again. I'll put it in the comments as well. Go and sign up for Betcozer. And also, from our perspective, is we got to support our sponsors, or they're not going to support us. So if you guys like what we do, then show some love to the sponsors and the people who are helping us do what we do. Because with their help, they're the reason that we can do what we do, and we could do more than what we do. Also, on a different note, a couple of new presenters this weekend, hopefully, making their debut ahead of the Autumn Nation series. So, whilst you won't see me tomorrow, you will see some new faces in the next day or two. Please give them a lot of support. Please show them a lot of love. We are trying to expand the team so that we can cover more rugby at the end of the day, because fortunately, I'm only one person. Imagine you could clone me. And every single rugby game would be covered ever. We'd be doing the local club game. We'd be doing the local Tiddlywinks game. Unfortunately, we can't. And as a result, we are looking at bringing in a couple of new presenters. Some of them are very new to this sort of idea. So, just show them a lot of support. Make sure the chat is pumping. That's the biggest thing, people. I need you guys to be in the chat for them, because the chat's dead. It makes life a lot harder for a presenter. Go and show them the support. And I will be live. As I said, I'll be live in about half an hour for the Lions under 21 versus Bulls under 21. We're live this evening for Bulls versus Benetton. Should be a cool game. I'm back in the Bulls to do the business there. Let me know which games you are keen to see. Please do smash like on the video. A bit of a short preview, but just sort of going through some of the betting stuff and sort of seeing where my money's at. We're going to be doing some bet boosts quite soon. The bet boost we did do was we backed all the 4 South African sides to win. We gave you 7-1 odds with Betcozer. It came good. I think I put about $50 in it, so I was smiling big time. So get involved with Betcozer. We'll see you guys in half an hour for the junior game, and we'll see you this evening for Bulls versus Benetton. And then please do show the support to the new presenters that you will see this weekend. I reckon you might even recognize one of them. We'll see you guys.